Okay, last few classes we have started with first module. We have done so many things. Well, we have covered a lot of things. Did we start with operators today, or did we start? Did we already done? And anyone?
Started, ma'am, operators.
Yeah, operators. Where did I stop?
Ternary operator.
Ternary
Okay.
operator.
Yeah. So this also I remember. Precedence of operator I have covered. I told open bracket,
Yes,
close bracket. Yes. This ternary operator I have done. This parenthesis also we have done. Okay. Now again we start with using the parenthesis. In case in your expression, if you have parenthesis and if you don't have parenthesis, these two are different ways of getting the results. Same way you can take one example. Parenthesis always makes the expression within them to execute first. That's what you first you can see A equals to B minus C star D, where we don't have the parenthesis. Here C into D, because multiplication is having higher precedence, that will be executed first. After multiplied, it will be subtracted with B, and the result will be stored back in A. The same, we should use the parenthesis like if we use B minus C with two within the parenthesis, then which one will be executed first? Can anyone give me which one will be executed first in the second one, where my pointer is pointing? So which one will be executed? B minus C or into D?
B minus C.
Yes, because B
Yes,
minus B minus C within the parenthesis. So this B minus C will be executed first. So that is important for parenthesis. Whereas in this expression, you can see C into D will be executed first. Then it will be multiplied with B, because here we don't have parenthesis. Whereas in this case, we have parenthesis. So parenthesis will be executed first, multiplied by D. Sometimes parenthesis is useful for clarifying the meaning of an expression and making a reader to understand the code. Same way here you can see, for example, without parenthesis, what will the value? With parenthesis, the values will be different. So just to show you how the parentheses are executed. Okay, so next we move on. So in C or in C++, C or C++, how do you take input keyboard values? Either C or C++. What is a method you are using to take input value from the keyboard?
Scanf.
Okay, scanf in C. In C++?
Cin, ma'am.
Okay, Cin. So someone is joining now. I have to admit them. Rahmatullah. Okay. Okay. So same way here in Java also, the input characters from the keyboard. How do we take input values from the keyboard? So to read a character, we are just seeing about a character. To read a character from the keyboard, we will be using system.in.read. Yes. So did we use anything before this class? System.in.read. Did we use anywhere? Did we use any of the, we have seen so many programs. Did we use this line, system.in.read?
No.
No, ma'am.
Okay, then did we use system.out.println?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that was for a printing output. This is for reading values from the keyboard. So you have to remember, if you want to read a characters, We have to use system.in. In is here what? Earlier we have used out.println, where you want to display something, whereas here you are taking a value. So that's the reason in. Then built-in function read, which will take a value from the keyboard. So a system.in is complement to the system.out. So we have seen about system.out. What is system? What is system? Someone should say me, what is system?
It's a class, ma'am.
Class
Okay, what is out?
object.
Yes,
Object.
good. Yes, S should be
Print is
always.
a method.
Okay, S is always should be capital. That also you have to remember. So in system.in.read, S should be capital. Maybe it is input line or it is output line. That you remember. Okay. So then again, it is an input object attached to the keyboard. So that's what here in is what? Input object. So then read method waits until user presses a key and returns the result. So what is this read is doing? Read is waiting until we press something from a key and returns the result. So this read method, this is a built-in method where it is used to take a input characters from the keyboard. So it will wait until we press something from the keyboard. It will be waiting. If you press something, that value will be passed to the results. So that's about the read built-in statement. A small program to take a character from the keyboard. So class keyboard in. So some name for the class. So then opening brackets, how many brackets you open, so many brackets should be closed. So here we have used 2 brackets and 2 should be closed. So then public static void main. So what is public? What is public?
Specifier.
Okay, what is static?
Method, ma'am.
What is
Static
what is
method.
what is void?
Returns nothing.
What is main? What is main?
Indicates main function.
Indicates main function. One more point.
Indicates the
Starting
starting
point
of
for
the
the program.
Yes, good.
Execution point of the program.
Yes, the starting point of the program and execution starts from here. Okay, very good. Then string. What is this string says to us?
Argument, data type of argument.
Good. So when can we use this one? This line?
So command line arguments. Any command line
Very good.
arguments.
So whenever we want to pass any values through the command line, then we can use this one. Okay. Then throws. Throws is an exception. We'll come back. We'll see this in depth when we come for the exception part. So throws is where we are throwing in case if I have any errors, any exception, any errors in my program, then I'm asking for a JDK to throw this into a IO exception. What type of exception I am feeling that in my program there may be error. I am saying because I am taking it as a character, that I am taking it a value from a keyboard. So I am saying that input output exception, IO exception will be there. And where it is in a Java IO. Again, someone has joined. So I have to stop, go back, admit them. So this becomes problem. That's the reason I was waiting for you people for so many times. And no one is here. Okay. Okay, so what we are doing, feeling that there may be some error in the input-output exception, we are using a throws where java.io, this is one more the thing where we are feeling that input-output line may be some error. So we are throwing that in a input-output exception. We'll see them in depth when we come to the exception part. So then the character, what we are taking data type as character and the variable as ch. Then system.out_println, and we just want to say press any key from a keyboard. So then we are storing this ch. You can see this ch and this ch. By mistake, this is a capital, but it is a small character system.in.readln. Let me change back because it should not be any confusion. Okay. We are storing this system dot. I'm pressing something from the keyboard that will be stored in a ch and display that using a system.out.println. That's all we are doing in this program, just to say how this read is working. So read system.in.read, we are taking some character, some keys from the keyboard and storing them in a variable called as a ch and display them ch. Any doubts you can ask me in this program? Any doubts, or shall we move on? Anyone? Okay, assuming that you people have understood, let me move on to the next one. So next we start with the control statement. So what do we mean by control statement? What do we mean?
Controls the flow of executions.
Okay, controls the flow of execution. Okay, in your homes, who is controlling the financial matters? Who is controlling your
Father or mother? Mother or father?
Yes. So elders in your family are controlling the financial matters. Same way here, in the programming part, I want to control my execution. I want to skip some lines. I want to execute some lines, something like this we want to do. So then that type of things we are doing in a control statement. So we see them one by one. The control statements are used to control over the order of execution of the statements. So what is this order? I may skip a first line, I will execute third line, again I may come back to first line, something like this. So this is what is called as a order. So the two major types of control statements available in Java are decision making statements and repetitive statements. Decision making, suppose let me say you people have completed your BCA and you have to decide whether to join MCA or whether I have to do job. So then something like that you decide. So that type of statements are called as a decision statement. Whereas repetitive statements, so repetitive statements, how many times I have to visit my college in one semester? How many times you have to go? So 3.5 months or 4 months, every day you have to repeat your moving to your college. So such type is called as a repetitive statement. But right now we are just moving on with the online classes. Okay. So decision making statements, what are there in the programming part? If, else, and switch. Then repetitive statements, that is loop. Some textbooks say it is looping statements. Some textbooks says it is repetitive. Just to make you confusing, they may ask, but you should be very clever enough how to answer it. So repetitive statements or loop statements are one and the same: for, while, and do while. We'll see one by one. So control statement, again in that we have seen decision statement. Again in decision statement, the Java if statement is used to test the condition. If the check Boolean condition, whether it is true or false, based on that we are executing some statements. So even in the if statement, we have some types of if statements. The various types of if statements in Java is, first one is just if statement. If this condition is true, I want to execute this one. If not, come out of the program. Then that is what is called as a if statement. If else statement, what we are doing, I just want to execute, have my statements both true condition as well as false condition. If my condition, if statement condition is true, execute true statements. If it is false, execute after else whatever lines are there. So that is what is called as a if else statement. You can ask me what is the difference between if statement and if else statement. In if statement, we execute only one. Either it may be true or false. Any one will be there. That is what is a if statement. Whereas in if else statement, both will be there. True case will be there. False statements we have written. But based on our condition, we may execute true statements or a false statement. That is what is called as a if else statement. Next one is a nested if statement. Nested if within one more if, then we call it as a nested if. So nested if, either it can be any way. So if within one more if, or it can be even in the else if also. Anywhere if we use, then that is what is called as a nested. Okay. So next one is if else, if ladder. So I may have if else, then again one more if else, again one more if else, again one more if else. So then that type of thing is called as a if else if ladder. Then switch statement, I have so many options, but I have to select only one. Then we are using a switch statement. Okay. So first one, if statements, the Java if statement test the condition if it executes the if block if condition is true. The syntax as follows: if condition, the code to be executed. So based on that, the code is executed. So Java if statement tests the condition. So that's what I told. If condition is true, that code will be executed. If the condition is false, then that block will not be executed. Java if statement tests the condition. It executes the if block if condition is true. The syntax as follows: if condition, code to be executed. So the same way, if they ask, even in your programming, they'll ask write a flowchart. In your question paper also, they may ask you write a flowchart. So then you should be in a position to write for each of them how. So, but this code, what it is doing, so it is showing how this if and if statement flowchart. So if the condition is true, it will execute the true false. If the condition is false, it is just coming out of the loop condition statement. So after it may go to end. So that is what if statement. Then we see one small program. So public class if example. So the public static void means same way as you all know what is each one is doing. Then here what we are taking one variable called as a age. So what is a data type of that age? It is an integer. And we are assigning some value for age. We are assigning the age is 20. If age is greater than 18, if anyone have a age greater than 18, then system.out print age is greater than 18. If it is less than, then it should we are not displaying here. So here what? Any age, but here in our case age is 20. The input value we have taken in 20. So because it is 20 and the condition is becoming true, that line will be printed on the output screen. So that's what here you can see, because this age is 20 and 20 is greater than 18, true. So then this line will be printed. So this will be your output, that is age is greater than 18. So this is just a simple if, and there is no else, only true part. True block is only this block we are executing, and based on this condition. Okay. So next we move on if else statement. Just now I told if else statement what it is doing. Both I want both the true condition as well as false condition. So control statement, if else statement. The Java if else statement also tests the condition. It executes the if block if condition is true, otherwise else block is executed. So what we are doing, if this condition is true, this block will be executed. If the condition is false, the else block will be executed, which you would have already known in the most of the programming part. Same way here, the flowchart for this. So if the condition is true, this part will be executed. If condition is false, the else code will be executed. So if both anyone, either true or false case one will be executed at a time. After that, it will come out. So this is a flow chart for if else statement. So you should remember what is the difference between both earlier flowchart and this flowchart. Earlier for flowchart we were not having else code, whereas in this part we have both if code as well as one block for true case, another block for false case. Same. Now we just move on to the simple program. The same program, but here we have changed little bit. So number, now we are assigning it to 13, and number mod 2, whether it is equal to 0. So when will be 0? Number is what is the value? 13. 13 mod 2 is what? Can anyone say 13 mod 2 is what? Can anyone? 1? 1. Whether it is true or false, this one, is it equals to 0?
False.
False. False. Then what it should do? It should print it as an odd number, right? So that's the reason you can see the true part we have not executed. It will be executing the odd number. So that's what here odd number will be your output. So that is what the if else statement. You can change this value, number value, and make in such a way that it becomes 0. Then you can even display a even number. If my value number is 12. So 12 mod 2 is how much? 12 mod 2 is how much? 0.
Zero,
so
ma'am.
then, yeah, 0 is equal to 0. 0 is equal to 0.
True.
Yes, ma'am.
True. So then even number will be printed. Yes. So that is the program here. Either true block or false block based on our condition. What is our condition? Which lines I want to execute? I want only odd numbers, then try for this. I want only even numbers, I try for this. But based, how will I come to know the even number I want to print or odd number? Based on this condition. Because here the number is 13, I will print a odd number. If my number is even and modulus, if I get it as 0 is equals to 0, then even numbers will be printed. Okay, so this is what is called as a if else statement. Next we move on, if else ladder. So ladder means what? One within one like this. So if the if ladder statement execute one condition from multiple statements, the syntax for the if else ladder, if condition 1 is true, then execute this. If condition 1 is false, then go for condition 2. If condition 2 is true, then execute this. If condition 2 is false, come to condition 3. If condition 3 is true, then execute this part. If it is false, come and try for this. This is how, means going if condition 1 false, coming to condition 2. This is also false, coming for condition 3. If it is also false, then it is coming to else part. So this type is called as a if else ladder. So the same flow chart for this, if condition 1 false, condition 2 false, condition n. Like this, you can keep going, and last will be default one. So if it is true, these statements will be executed. If it is false, it will come to execute only this. So this is a flow chart for if else ladder. And a small program. So your marks. So take your marks is 65. Your marks is less than 50, then fail. If it is between 50 and 60, D grade. If it is between 60 and 70, C grade. If it is between 70 and 80, it is B grade. If it is between 80 and 90, it is A grade. And if it is greater than 90 and less than 100, it is A plus grade. All these are not there. If I have given minus 10, is it fine? No, it is not possible. So then we say it is a invalid. Yes. So in our case, what is the value? In our case, the marks is 65. If it is 65, what will be our output? Which range this is 65? So it is here. It is between 60 and 75. So what will be our output? Our output should be C grade. So that's what you can see here. C grade is displayed. Yes, clear about this program? Clear about this program? Yeah. So next we move on. Next one is switch. So now I have so many options. Now I want to watch a TV9. I want to watch TV5. I want to watch public TV. I want to know NDTV. I want to know CBC. There are so many channels. Can I see all at a time? Can I see all news channels at a time? Yes, can anyone say? Can we watch all the news channels at a time?
No, ma'am.
It is not possible. So then what we can do, at one time only one news channel I can view. Yes. So that same way here also. In switch case, I have so many cases. But out of so many cases, based on my expression, my switch condition, I will execute only one. Yes, same way like your channels. We have n number of news channels, but at one time I can watch only one news channel. I cannot watch 2 or 3 news channels. Yes, because if I see also audio and video cannot be seen for 2 or more at a time. So then same way here also, the Java switch statement executes one statement from multiple conditions. Only one will be executed. That's it. Only I can watch only one news channel. I cannot see. I have so many news channels. Multiple channels are there. But at one time, I can have only one. That same way here also in switch statement. In switch statement, I may have case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4. Like that, I may have so many. And the last will be default. So based on my value, I want only this block to execute based on my case. So that's what it is. Like if else, if ladder, the syntax for this is switch expression case value 1. So based on this value, this will be executed and it will break. I want to break this case 1 and come out of this switch. Same way I can execute case 2, break and come out of this switch. Suppose any of these are not my wish. My default will be something like this. So in the same way in news channel, if you don't have, then default, if we set default, if we can go for Doordarshan news also, something like that. This is default code to be executed if all cases are not matched. If all these cases are not matched, the default code will be this one. Yes. So this is what is called as a switch statement. Similarly, the flow chart for switch. So expression based on this expression, whether case 1 you want to execute, if you want to execute case 1, these statements will be executed. If you execute it, then break and come out of the switch. Or you have not selected case 1, you have selected case 2. Yes, then this will be executed. Then break and come out. So like this, any number of cases you can use. In case if you have not given any of this, the default one, last one will be executed. Then break and come out. This is what is called as a switch statement. So one small program for switch. So class, you can use a saying that this class switch example should be public. So you can give this. I have just explained you what are these lines. And the second, how many brackets you open, so many brackets should be closed for all the programs. So here we have 3. The 3 should be closed. Not only for this, any program, anything, any number of brackets, so many number of closing should be there. Then I told, and keep stressing, this line is compulsory. This line, whatever we have, this line is compulsory for all the Java programs. Whichever programs we have, so many programs, definitely we should have this line. Okay, next, any number of variables you want, you can declare them. So here we have declared one variable or a one value, that is number, and we have assigned it to 20, and that is of type integer data type. Okay, so now switch. So what is there in the number 20? So now if I say 20, what should I execute in this? Out of this, which one will be executed? Which case will be executed?
20.
The case which is having 20 value, this case will be executed. That is 20, and it will break, come out. That is what is your output. In case if we can change the number, if I change it to 10, here if I change it to 10, the first case 10 will be executed. If I change it to 30, then this will be executed. And if I give it a 0, I don't give anything, then the default will be executed. Yes. So this is a small simple program for a case, switch case. Okay. So do same way how we have a nested if within one more if, same way we may have a switch within one more switch. That is what is called as a nested switch. So we can use a switch statement inside other switch statement in Java. It is known as nested switch statement. So the program, Java program to demonstrate nested Java nested switch. So this is the same what here. So branch we have given C, college year, which year? 4th year, and the data type what we have given here, it is character, and this is integer. And here switch, so college year, which year? 4. So because it is 4, where it will go? It should go for, here it is a college year. Will it go for case 1? Will it execute case 1? Anyone? Will it execute case 1?
No, ma'am.
Case 2?
No, ma'am.
Okay, case 3?
No, ma'am.
No, it will not execute. It will come to case 4 and it will execute this switch statement. Again, in case we have one more switch branch. Which branch it is? Which branch it is? So you can see here, what was a branch we have? Branch is C we have given here. So then when you come for this switch, again branch we are passing it as C. So where do we have C here? Yes, we have C here. Only this statement will be display, that is data communication and networks, that is multimedia. So then it will break. So based like this, the switch statement, what is this we have done here? This is the first switch. Yes. And in case 2, again, one more switch is there. And in case 3, one more switch. And in case 4 also, there is one more switch. So that's the reason it is called as a nested switch. Switch, outside switch, there is one more switch. In case 3 also, there is one more switch. In case 4 also, there is one more switch. Then we are calling this as a nested switch example or nested switch program. Okay, that's about the switch statement. Any doubt in this? You can ask me. Any doubt? So what did we cover? We have started with keyboard, taking a value from the keyboard, character, only character. So then we have started with control statement. In that we have seen if statement, if else statement, nested if statement, if else, if ladder, then switch. So we have done with, we have covered all these. So all these we have covered. Next we move on to the repetitive statement. What is repetitive statement? Repetitive statement is also called as a loop statement. So loop statement, so how many, in one semester, how many days I have to come to college? So how many? 87 days, 90 days you have to come to college. So that's what here we calculate. That's what is called as a loops. So next we move on to the loop. Next is looping statement. The Java for loop is used to iterate a part of program several times. It is a number of iteration is fixed. It is recommended to use for loop. There are 3 types of for loops in Java: simple for loop, for each or enhanced for loop, or labeled for loop. We'll see them how we are doing it. First is a looping, that is for loop. So similar like how you have done in your C or C++ programs, same way here also. The simple for loop is same as C and C++. We can initialize variables, check condition, and increment or decrement value. So the syntax for a simple for loop: for initialize I equals to 0, condition I is, if I is less than 10, increment. Now these lines, increment and execute these lines till the condition becomes false. So this is what is called as a for loop. How to write a flowchart for loop? So initialize this condition, execute statements. How many times we execute? I is 1, I is 2, I is 3, I is 4, I is 5. Like this, we keep repeating. So once the condition is false, it will come out. That's the reason this is a flow chart for loop. Okay, one small program. So we just want to print I, start from I equal to 1 till I is less than 10 or equal to 10. We have given here equal, means I should be 10. Till then you have to keep repeating this one. Print 1. First time what I have, I value 1. So it is printing. Second time, because here I plus plus, it will increment next time to 2. So now I value 2. 2 is less than or equal to 10. Yes. So print 2. Now again increment I plus plus, then 3. I now becomes 3. Then print that, then come back. Now I 3 is less than equal to 10. So again print. So like this, it keeps printing till is equal to 10. So because it is equal to 10, till 10, this keeps, I value keeps printing. So this is what is called for. So what we have done, this part of line we have repeated how many times? We have repeated 10 times. Only this line is repeated for 10 times. That's what it is called as a loop, and some textbooks calls it as a repetitive. Yes, definitely we are repeating that line, println line, how many times? 10 times. Or some call loop, some call repetitive, which is one and the same. Okay, so this was your for loop. 1 second. So I'll just stop here. before we move on, let me take attendance. Anaga, answer your attendance.
Yes, ma'am.
Abhilash,
Yes, ma'am.
Akil,
Ma'am.
Akrut,
Yes, ma'am.
Anusha,
Yes, ma'am.
Arvind,
Yes, ma'am.
Arifullah,
Yes, ma'am.
Benaka,
Present, ma'am.
Banu Prakash,
Yes, ma'am.
Bhargav, Rahmatullah,
Present, ma'am.
Chaitra,
Present, ma'am.
Chandana, Charan, Darshan,
Present, ma'am.
Diksha, Dakshayani,
Present, ma'am.
Kishan,
Present, ma'am.
Harshit.
Present, ma'am.
Who is that? Chandan. Someone is marking in the chat window. Chandanasi. Okay, Matt. Hemalata,
Present, ma'am.
Uma,
Present, ma'am.
Bhargav is present. Okay. Jayant.
Ma'am, Uma, present,
Present,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, mark Uma. Divya,
Jayant present, ma'am.
mark Jayant. Divya,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Kaushik,
Present, ma'am.
Lakshmi. Yeah, she has mic problem. Okay. Lavanya,
Same, ma'am. Mic problem. Present.
Manish,
Present, ma'am.
Manoj,
Present, ma'am.
Mohit,
Yes, ma'am.
Naval,
Present, ma'am.
Navya,
Present, ma'am.
Nikhil,
Present, ma'am.
Panindra,
Present, ma'am.
Pavan,
Yes, ma'am.
Pooja,
Present, ma'am.
Purnima,
Yes, ma'am.
Rahman,
Raman, ma'am. Present.
Rashmi,
Present, ma'am.
Rupak,
Yes, ma'am.
Sai Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
Samir,
Present, ma'am.
Santosh.
Present, ma'am.
I didn't still end my class. I have my class still continuing. Please stay back. Sadab,
Present, ma'am.
Charan,
Present, ma'am.
Shashank,
Present, ma'am.
Sheetal,
Present, ma'am.
Shivani,
Present, ma'am.
Soumyashri,
Present, ma'am.
Spurti,
Present, ma'am.
Sri Vishnu,
Present, ma'am.
Sugandhini,
Present, ma'am.
Sushma,
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita,
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita you,
Present, ma'am.
Tirtha,
Present, ma'am.
Trupti,
Present, ma'am.
Varsha,
Present, ma'am.
Veena,
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, Charan present, ma'am.
Charan marked, I think. Let me see. Yeah.
Okay.
And Raman also present.
Huh?
Raman present, ma'am.
Yeah, Raman, I have marked. Yeah, today we have started with operators. We've started with keyboard, taking a value from keyboard. Then we have moved on for a control statement. Then in that we have seen about decision making statement and repetitive statements. So decision statement if else and switch, and in repetitive for while and do while. So again in if statements we have if statement, if else statement, nested if, and if else if ladder. Then we have a switch statement. So Java if statement tests the condition, it executes the if block based on the condition. If the condition is true, that block will be executed. This is a syntax for if statement, if condition, and this was the flow chart for that, and this was the program, small program for if statement. So then we have start. Next is if else statement. If else means I want to even execute both. Either if condition is true, I want the true part to be executed. If the condition is false, I want to execute false part also. And so in that case, we use a if else if statement. So this is a true case and then a false case. So that's what one small. This is a flow chart. This is a if else statement. That is number. If the number is modulus operator, if it is not becoming 0, then it is displaying odd number. If it is equal to 0, then it becomes a even number. The same way, if else statement, if else ladder, if the condition 1 is true, then only that will be executed. If it is false, it will come to condition 2. If the condition 2 is true, then that part will be executed. If it is false, it will come to condition 3. And if the condition 3 is true, then the true part will be executed. If all the conditions are false, then the last one else part will be executed. So this is a statement. This is a statement where we check with the if else ladder. We've seen one program where we are just checking out the marks of a student. If the student marks is less than 50, he is fail. If it is greater than, it is between 50 and 60, then it is D grade. If it is between 60 and 70, it is C. 70 and 80 B, 80 and 90 A, and last one 90 and 100, it is A plus grade. All these grade in case if by mistake I have entered minus 10, so then it becomes a invalid. So next we move on to the switch statement. In switch statement we have so many cases, case 1, case 2, case 3, and last one is default. Based on these cases, if the case, any case is matching, then it will execute. If not, it will execute the default one. So this is a small flow chart for it, and this is a program for switch statement. That is case if the, because in our number we have initialized the number as 20, and the switch number will be executed. That is case 10. So then system.out.println, that is 10. If here in our case 20, so it will execute case 20 and it will display that and it will break. So if any of these values, if by mistake if I have taken 0, so then the default one will be executed. Then we started with a nested if statement. Same way how we have if within one more if, here also we have a switch within one more switch. So in this case switch, we have case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, and in case 2 also we have one more switch within that. In case 3 also we have one more switch. Case 4 also one more switch. First we are checking what is a branch of the student. So whether the branch is 1, 2, 3 or 4. Because in our program we have taken 4, so it will give us a 4. It will go to the 4th case. And branch we have told it as C, so it will go for branch 4 and case C. So that's about the looping. We have started looping statement. There are 3 types of looping statements in Java. First is simple for each, and labeled for. We'll see them one by one. So the simple for loop is as same as your C and C++. We can initialize variable, check condition, and increment or decrement value. The syntax as for initialize, condition, increment, and decrement. So this is what the flow chart: initialize, condition, statement, increment, or decrement. So this is a for loop where system.out.println will be executed how many times? 10 times this line will be executed. That's the reason we are calling it as a for loop. So I will stop here and we'll continue in the next class. So before I stop, we have one more hour, that is lab session we have to cover, lab instruction. Yes. So lab, regarding lab. So how many programs we have done in the last lab? Can anyone say how many programs we have executed in the last lab?
First
When
program, ma'am.
Yeah. Tuesday, tomorrow again at 1:45 we'll be meeting for the lab session. So, but now because already I have covered with the first program. So what is the first program we have seen? What was the first program we have seen?
Method overloading and constructor.
Yeah, method overloading and constructor overloading. So I'm just displaying the program here. One have to explain the program. Any volunteers can come up and explain the same program what I have explained in the last class, last lab session. Because now next hour we have a lab exercise section. I'll be asking you people to execute like this for each lab section. Yeah, can anyone? Any volunteers? Any volunteers to come and explain? If you're not coming, then I have to pick anyone and ask you people to explain. Any volunteers? I'm displaying the code also. I think you are able to see my code. You're able to see my code, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, I want anyone to come and explain. Now it is 2:40. I'll give you 3 minutes just to go through the program. And you start explaining. Anyone. I don't have any problem that one has to, any out of any 59, 58, anybody. If no one is coming, I have to pick out. Till 2:45, I will wait. If no one is turning up, I'll point out. So, and you remember today you will be having 2 classes, right? First class I've taken attendance. One more I'll repeat the same. People who are present, the same attendance will be given. Means 2 classes attendance will be there for Monday. Yes. I'm marking one more attendance because after 2:40, one more class. 2 hours class. If you just explain, anyone explains very fast, we can complete the very soon. Close the class. If no one is coming, I'll just ask in each class 2 or 3 people to explain and we can complete one more hour.
I'll do it, ma'am.
Yeah, very good. Who is that?
Darshan.
Okay, Darshan.
We have a class called sample, which is a main class. In that we have 2 constructors. A constructor should be named same as a class name, which is sample. One is constructor with parameter and the other is constructor without parameter. Constructor is called when an object is created of that class to initialize variables. In the first constructor, we don't have any parameter. Whenever we create an object, the first one gets called. If we pass any argument while creating an object with parameter, the second constructor, which is receiving an input of integer, will be called, and the value is printed while printing it is pre-incremented. If I give 10, it prints 11. There are two functions, info and function func, one with parameter, the other without parameter. If I call a function with the object of that class, like I've created a object yes. If I call it with yes dot function, the function first one gets called. If I pass an argument and then call a function, the second one which receives an argument is called. In the first one, I'm printing function invoke. In the second one, I'm printing the value, which is post incremented. In that, even if I give 25, it prints 25. In the next statement, it prints 26. Sorry, 27. That's it.
Okay, good, Darshan. Very good, very good, very good. You're able to hear your claps. Okay, next person. Two more, 2 or 3 more till 3 o'clock. Till 3 is the class. After that, we'll close. I want 2 or 3 more people to explain the same thing, how Darshan explained, or better also you can explain. If something missed by Darshan, others can explain. Yes, next person. Anybody have displayed the program also, explaining the program. Yeah, who is that? Someone wants to explain? Yeah, now Darshan has done girls. One girl has to explain. Anyone, any girl. Any girl has to explain now. I've taken one more attendance now. I mean, I have copied the same thing. Already have taken attendance, right? I've repeated. Okay, one more. Girl. Any girl, one girl has to explain. If you're not coming, I will call.
I'll do it, ma'am.
Yeah. Who is that? Lakshmi. Very good, Lakshmi. Okay.
We have a class called sample.
Yeah.
First, public static void main will execute. As we have mentioned, to create a sample yes as an object is equals to new sample. We called the instructor function by creating an object. And next, now the system.out.println constructor invoke will be executed. And next, sample S1. S1 is an object that we have created, and we have sent an argument as 10. Now the second constructor system sample of int I will be executed, and then using the S object function func function will be executed, and then by the S1 function int void func func int j will be executed. In that value of j is 20, and then value of j is 22 will be displayed.
Okay. Good, Lakshmi. Good. Applause for you. Okay, next person. Next one guy, next one girl. Then we'll stop. One guy, anyone, anybody. If you come fast, we can close the session fast.
Yes, ma'am. Can I start, ma'am?
Yeah, who is that?
Kishan, ma'am.
Okay. Because, see, everyone will get a chance. Now I'll mark who I've explained. Next session, next week, I will not ask the same person. So now I'm marking. Darshan has done. Yes, Darshan has done. Lakshmi has done. Everyone has to do. Everyone, each one, all 59. Okay, next now who is doing?
Kishan, ma'am.
Kishan. Yes, Kishan. Yeah, you can start.
Okay. First, we have created a class called sample, and the constructor we have declared sample because it has to be the same name of the class. Then the program starts from the static void main. There we create an object S, then we call the sample. There constructor invoked the first output what we get. Next again S1 another object is created. where sample like 10 is the value which we are passing. Then the second sample int I that gets executed, where the output will be 11 because it is pre-increment. Then the function is called void func. Their function invoked is the third output, and the fourth output is 20 and 22, ma'am.
Okay, good. Okay, okay, Kishan, it's very good. Okay, next person, next one girl. Anyone? You have to do it either today or tomorrow, next week. One has to explain. I'll mark the people who have done today. Yeah, next one. You'll come or shall I pick? One more. One more. Fast. Come on, only your classmates and me. None of others are there. Yes, one has to come fast. If one comes fast, we can close it. If they explain, we can close the session. No one? Shall I pick the name? Shall I pick your names? ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಬನ್ನಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೇನು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ 3 ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ ಅವ್ರು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ತಾನೆ one has to come. If you're not coming, I'll call your names among yourself. It's 2:50. One more minute I'll give. One has to start. Is fast, anyone? Shall I call your names or you'll start? I'm giving you a code, displaying the code, just explaining why you are so this one. Huh? All these you have to face in the life. See, once you go for your company, they'll ask you to present like this. So that's the reason you have to come up. You have to bold enough and start explaining. Yes. I will call your names. Anyone. Now, not only girl, even boy also. Anyone.
Shall I start, ma'am?
Yeah. Say your name and start.
Benaka, ma'am.
Okay, Benaka. I've marked. Benaka.
Ma'am, our goal is demonstrating constructor overloading and method overloading.
Okay. Good.
Constructor is it has to have a same name as class.
Very good.
So that's why we have a sample and another constructor, a sample with parameter.
Very good. Yeah.
So this two constructor will achieve the goal of constructor overloading. When an object is created for a class, without the any parameters, the sample constructor will get executed. Sample S for that object creation. Sample or constructor will get executed. In the next line, we have sample S1, and to that object we are passing an argument.
Okay.
So that executes sample with parameter. Here the value of I is printed as 10. 11. because we are using a pre-increment operator here.
Yeah.
Then the other goal is method overloading. Method overloading is like two functions with same name, but different parameter list.
Okay.
So using the same object, we call function, first function, without any parameters. Here, the only statement is like function invoked is printed.
Very good.
Then we have another object. With that, we call another function with the parameter.
Okay.
We are passing an object 20 for the another function with the parameter.
Okay.
So the value of j is printed as 20 and post incremented. The value becomes 20. Then again j value is incremented to 1, so 22. It j becomes 22. Finally, the value of j is again printed as 22. That's in the program.
Very good, Benaka. Very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so we'll stop here. Next, that is tomorrow, we have theory as well as lab session. So we'll morning first hour we have theory, and afternoon we have lab session. I'll be explaining you 2 programs tomorrow, and the same thing I'll be repeating next Monday, because Monday afternoon again you have a lab instruction class, right? So whenever you have lab instruction class, one of you have to explain like this. Today what we have done, same way you have to explain the program. I will explain first, later you have to repeat that. So we'll stop here and we'll continue in the next class. And I have given 2 attendance for today, because first hour 1 class, and now